Hello, class. My name is Marino, and today my speech will be informing you on how earthquakes affect the Earth as it falls under as a natural disaster. As we know that natural disasters do occur every day, we do know that it has an effect on its platform. Disasters have struck Earth way before humans have inhabited Earth, and will continue to have impact on Earth while Earth still exists. But we wonder, personally, how much can Earth take from all the natural disasters that occur every day? Though there are many natural disasters on Earth, there's a specific natural disasters that I would like to focus on, which is earthquake. Here in California, one of our most natural disasters we experience are earthquakes. An earthquake is when the surface of the ground shakes or vibrates. And what is interesting about the earthquake is that sometimes it gives us no warning. It comes as unexpected. Earthquake can cause minor destruction to massive destruction by the plate boundaries moving, which can have an effect on the area where it happens nearby or around. What's crazy about the earthquakes um, is that it can happen in any type of weather. According to uh, USGS.gov, why are there so many earthquakes? It states that there is approximately 55 earthquakes per day and around 20,000 earthquakes a year. That is crazy, imagining that there is 55 earthquakes per day. And how does that affect what's within it? Well, it affects everything. It affects society. It affects the atmosphere overall. But today, my main points of earthquake that I will be covering on how it affects the environment would be the ground rupture, the effects on the people, and also on how to prepare for one. And before I get started, I would like to ask you a question. Like, what when an earthquake occurs, what is the first thing when you see that the earth or the floor is vibrating, and you see that some items begin to fall? What is the first reaction we get? Well, it's logical. Many people tend to walk outside. Many people tend to go and hide underneath the table. And many people just become in shock. Well, we our brains react differently as to survival mode. Our brains react differently to survival mode. I just wanted to ask that very quick. How do you react when you see the earth vibrating? Well, anyways, I will be starting off with rupture. When an earthquake occurs, causes rupture on the ground. This is a movement along the fault lines, which causes the Earth's surface to create cracks. Looking at USGS.gov, earthquake hazards show us that there are two important geological factors that affect the level of shaking experiences in the earthquakes. Which number one is the softness of the surface of the rocks, and number two, and the thickness of the surface sediments. Sorry. This is important because seismologists get that information, and they tend to study that information. And as well, the second one will be that it helps them predict the amplification within the region of the area. An example I would like to provide about the ground rupture happening in California was the 7.1 quake that had an epicenter near the Rickrest, California, and residents from San Francisco Bay Area to the casino resorts of Las Vegas felt that earthquake. It's crazy on how it had an effect from San Francisco to Vegas, which leads me to my next point, which is making an impact on everyone by destructions and death. For this one is about how it affects the people, how it affects society overall. When earthquakes are happening, depending on the magnitude of the quakes, it affects everyone in some way, such as their health, their mental, and of course their physical. When earthquakes occur, it brings consequences by destroying homes, roads, schools, taking vulnerable lives, and also traumatic injuries. Many have died from the collapse of buildings falling on top of them or them being in the buildings. And also, it creates like a social impact and a shock to everyone. An example I would like to provide today would be how earthquakes have high death. Earthquakes causes high death rates. Looking at medicalnewstoday.com shows us how earthquake rates are over 78,000 in the last past decade. As well, it causes musculoskeletal injuries that affect the human body as well. And overall, my last point would be how to prepare for an earthquake. We need to be prepared for everything that happens. This might be a review for many, but I just want to share it with you and if you could share with your loved ones and friends, about the earthquake. When an earthquake occurs, and if you are indoors, the best method to protect yourself is to drop, cover, and hold by holding onto a sturdy table. If you are outdoor, it's best recommended to stay away from any glass, any buildings. Try to be in an area where there is not a lot of buildings around in a clear path. If you're in a crowded area, do not rush to the door because everyone, everyone's trying to get out because everyone's like I mentioned earlier, everyone's panic mode is just to like protect themselves, save themselves. But in this case, if you are in a crowded area, the best thing to do is to find a place where there's not anyone, where there's not a lot of items around or things that could fall. And if you are driving, it is best recommended just to pull over to the curb and away from the utility poles and overhead wires. And for more information on this, you can find it on CDC.com regarding about disasters and earthquakes. To conclude, I would like to say that earthquakes can be dangerous, and it is important to be prepared for one. Educate your loved ones and friends on how to protect themselves from natural disasters. And overall, today what I covered on my informative speech was the ground rupture effects on the people and what to do if there is an earthquake. Thank you so much, class, for watching, and you guys have a good day. Bye bye.